Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So things are moving extremely quickly in this Daniel Dubois situation. According to the Ring magazine, he has indeed now been forced to pull out, and they have already arranged and confirmed a replacement, which will be Martin Bakole. He will step in to face Joseph Parker on Saturday night. As soon as news started circulating that Daniel Dubois was ill, Billy Nelson was straight on interviews with the YouTube channel saying that Martin Bakole has got his bags packed and he's ready to fly to Saudi right now. Ben Shalom, Bakole's promoter, was saying that he's been making furious texts and calls back and forth with various different people to get his guy Bakole in to replace Daniel Dubois. Obviously, we don't know what kind of shape Martin Bakole is in. He hasn't fought since last summer when he beat Jared Anderson. He did have a fight scheduled against Efe Ajagba, although it had yet to be officially announced and confirmed. But that would have been an IBF final eliminator against the Ajagba. And I don't think it would have been till maybe May. So he might be ticking over in the gym, doing rounds, this, that, and the other. But you wouldn't have imagined that Bakole would be in tip-top fight week shape, basically. And so taking the fight on such short notice is either a measure of how confident Martin Bakole and his trainer manager Billy Nelson are in Bakole's shape right now and in his overall ability, or it could be a matter of Billy Nelson desperate to get his hands on some big money, because he hasn't really made much money out of Martin Bakole to this point. But this will be a big payday for Billy Nelson, who, again, is not only trainer, he's also manager. So that's two cuts that Billy Nelson is taking out of Martin Bakole's purses. And perhaps Martin Bakole himself is really desperate for those big paydays, because this is a big gamble. Remember, they already had that IBF eliminator coming up, and that would have put Martin Bakole in a position to force Daniel Dubois to fight him if he'd beaten Efe Ajagba. And for that, he would have had a full camp, proper prep, so on and so forth. And as I understand it, that was set to be on a Ring magazine card, so still put on by the Saudis. So yeah, big gamble here by Billy Nelson and Martin Bakole. Let's see whether it pays off for him. Again, kudos to Turki Al Sheikh and Riyadh Season for organizing such a fantastic replacement. If it weren't for their involvement in boxing, you wouldn't see replacements of this quality. I mean, for the Shakur Stevenson fight, for example, they got Josh Padley, who, funny enough, was actually ranked a position above Floyd Schofield by the WBC. Most people wouldn't think that Padley is as good as Floyd Schofield, but nevertheless, on a couple of days' notice, what do you expect? But here, getting Martin Bakole to replace Daniel Dubois, the Saudis have really outdone themselves. Okay, fantastic replacement. I do, though, feel disappointed because presumably, and I hope I'm wrong here, in taking this fight with Joseph Parker, which is a WBC interim heavyweight title fight, Bakole will be forfeiting his position with the IBF. And I wanted him to become IBF mandatory and force Daniel Dubois to fight him, because the IBF tend to expedite their mandatories much faster than any of the other sanctioning bodies. So if the Bakole-Ajagba fight had gone ahead and Bakole had won, then we will potentially see Dubois-Bakole later on this year, forced upon Daniel Dubois, right? And I always liked that stylistic matchup. But in taking this fight here with Joseph Parker, maybe that lets Daniel Dubois off the hook. Maybe Frank Warren's happy about this because, again, Joseph Parker is a Frank Warren fighter. Maybe Frank Warren's thinking, well, it's all right because then Daniel doesn't have to face Martin. The WBC tend to be the slowest of all sanctioning bodies when it comes to enforcing mandatories. And the WBC interim position is basically just a glorified mandatory. We've seen the WBC over the years, in some instances, not enforce a mandatory for like 2 years, have the mandatory challenger waiting indefinitely, and in some cases, cancel mandatories altogether for seemingly no reason. I mean, they allow Canelo not to fight David Benavidez, who was his mandatory for God knows how long. Ridiculous. But on the positive side for Martin Bakole, if he were to beat Joseph Parker, and I'm not confident he will because I don't know what kind of shape he's in, but if he were to beat Joseph Parker, on the positive side, if he did it in impressive fashion, that would make a statement to the world. That would make a statement to the division, and that would put indirect pressure on the likes of Daniel Dubois and maybe even Alexander Usyk, although, again, Usyk's only got 2 fights left. But certainly Dubois would be under pressure from the fans, if not from his sanctioning body. So I'll do a separate video, maybe a live stream about how I think the fight may play out between Martin Bakole and Joseph Parker, the stylistic matchup and whatnot. But for now, let me know what you guys think about this dramatic turn of events. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.